All right, episode 4. That's a 5. This is a 4. Episode 4, we're back. Consolidation and maintenance of power. This time we're talking about the impact of foreign policy on the success or failure of maintaining power, right? So how did those foreign policies help the person maintain power? Let's get into it. What are the foreign policies? 1, abolish Versailles. 2, expansionism. That's where Lebensraum and Greater Germany live. 3, anti-communism. Let's go. So here it is. This is short, sweet, to the point, right? These are the 9 steps, right? The road to World War II, as we called it in class. So in 1933, Adolf Hitler is going to withdraw from the League of Nations because they don't agree with the equality of treatment clause, right? Either allow me to rearm or all of you disarm. It said no, so they're going to leave the League of Nations, which is going to begin the expansionist policies of Adolf Hitler, right? In 1935, the Saarland returns, right? So that former mandate is going to return after its 15-year mandate status. So that's a big win for Hitler. German blood votes to reunite with German blood and German leadership, right? By 1935, this is the Anglo-German Naval Agreement, all that stuff we talked about in class. Germany is rearmed itself as a country. They're not totally rearmed yet, but they're well on their way. They reintroduced conscription, and they're realizing that the West is turning another eye. So this is essentially the first part where you can say the Treaty of Versailles is a meaningless document because they have well surpassed the 100,000 men military that was prescribed in the treaty. They don't have that anymore. Later on in 1936, Hitler remilitarizes the Rhineland. If you remember in class, that was his greatest risk, right? That's where this all could have come to an end, but it didn't. The West is going to allow that to happen. And again, the Treaty of Versailles, as well as the Locarno Pact, right? Because that was agreed upon in Locarno for a second time, is being dismantled. Later on in 1936, the Civil War, I believe it happens in Spain. I don't really remember if it's Spain or not, but there's a civil war somewhere. Hitler gets involved for anti-communist reasons. So going back to that anti-communist foreign policy. And he's also going to sign the Anti-Comintern Pact with Japan, and then later on, Italy is going to join it. Right? This the I almost said it. The Spanish Civil War has major repercussions to Hitler's war plans as well. Right? That's the Battle of Guernica and the German Junker planes, and how lethal that German military is, and that kind of fear of war. But we'll get into that in a different episode down the line. Later on in 1938, we've got the Anschluss with Austria. That's the political union. This is big for Hitler. This is Greater Germany being achieved. The Sudetenland crisis. This is living space. This is Lebensraum in Eastern Europe. The Munich Agreement allows Hitler to take that. A couple months later, he's going to invade the rest of Czechoslovakia, which again, greater supports that idea of eastward expansion. The Nazi-Soviet Pact in 1939, followed by the invasion of Poland in 1939. So let's go right back here and kind of round up this episode. His foreign policy was clear. He delivered on his foreign policy well. That led to less opposition, right? So if you remember back to class, from 33, when he comes to power, to 39, no opposition in Germany. 39, 40, 41, that's German expansion. That's kind of the peak of the Nazi Empire, the Third Reich, right? That's where Germans don't know what the word want means. They're getting resources, they're getting goods from all over Europe. So those are peak German years. There's very little resistance inside of Germany by Germans, right? The resistance is going to come by the French and the Norwegians and the Belgians, but that's World War II stuff. We'll unpack that in a later episode as well. But his execution of his foreign policy led to very little opposition. I'll catch you back in a later episode for more.